Yeah, nobody died when I was getting that pork chop.
Broadcasting live from an Airstream somewhere in Tornado Alley, bringing you the people, places, and stories from the Panhandle to the Red River. This is your Only in Oklahoma show.
And welcome to the show. Today we're headed to the Admiral Twin Drive-In in Tulsa, and a little bit later, there was a thunderstorm in the bathroom? I'm Brett.
And I am Harley. So Connor and I did do our father-son road trip.
Little bonding.
We went north on 81 from El Reno, and basically until we ran out of road. We drove from noon on Saturday until 2 a.m. on Sunday.
I have this vision, the scene when the Griswolds jumped the station wagon, and they're sitting there waiting for the tow truck or whatever. And Clark and Rush, did you guys share a beer at the end of the trail anywhere?
We did have onion burgers.
Oh, really?
Sid's while we were out and about.
Now, which location?
It was the one in Minco, actually.
You don't hear a lot about that.
I was super impressed. Like, everybody there, it was all the whole team was super young.
They're like our age combined.
Maybe. There were 4 of them. They might have been one of our ages combined. But did a bang-up job. Super polite, super fast, and it was good food.
They've got some pretty, I don't know, when you have one Sid's, there's some big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
We're talking about a restaurant that's been on Travel Channel, Food Network. Is kind of, I hate to say it, kind of a ballsy move when they decided to move to open another one in Minco. So the expectations are really high.
Yeah, they did a great job. I was super impressed.
So I know we kind of talked about your trip. Did you stay anywhere all night? What?
No, we ended up driving home.
Ooh.
We drove all the way to Stillwater, and we were going to stay in a hotel. But I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but last weekend was the
Calf Fry Festival, yeah.
The Calf Fry Festival in Stillwater. And apparently that means every hotel room in the city is full.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. It's a big deal. I don't know if you realize how big that is.
I didn't realize that many people came and stayed overnight.
Yeah, they come from all over. It's a big, I'm surprised we haven't. That's something that we haven't talked about, but it's definitely on the list in the future. But yeah, it's a big deal.
I just didn't realize it was big enough to fill up all of the hotels.
Yeah. So took the red eye back home.
Yes, we drank coffee and
had the windows rolled down.
Yeah.
And, well,
it was a lot of fun.
Well, it sounds like tons of fun, but you didn't make him drive home. You didn't make him do the red eye flight back.
Once we got past 10 p.m., I had him switch with.
Did you? So overall, give us your letter grade for how well he did.
I would give him a solid A.
Because you're the road king. That's some pretty tall cotton to be riding, you know what I mean? Not just an autopilot this time. Actually being in charge of live or die mode.
Yeah, it's definitely a little weird, and I'm a bit of a control freak when it comes to stuff like that, so...
But this is your third child that's old enough to drive. Isn't this crazy?
Yeah.
Man, they grow up so fast.
They do. Well, let's switch lanes. We need to talk about the Admiral Twin Drive-In in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yes, a little bit shorter drive in.
If you go straight there, yes, it is a much faster drive.
A much faster drive.
But this is a historic theater just off Route 66, and they have been in business for 71 years.
I don't know the math, but I know that at one time, there were probably over 100 drive-in theaters throughout the country because there was a moment in between silent movies and movie theaters where the drive-in theater was kind of born, and then they started popping up everywhere as more people became more mobile.
Yes, but this particular theater actually has a little bit of history in the concept of drive-in theaters.
Right.
And we'll get to that in just a bit. But they've been showing movies since 1950,
That's a long time,
1951. Man. This is Oklahoma's largest drive-in theater. They opened on May 24th, 1951, with Rod Cameron in Oh, Susanna as the movie that was showing. and their capacity at that point in time was a capacity of 700 cars.
Geez, were there that? How many people owned a car even then?
I don't know.
Not many still.
I would say that...
But back then, each household had a car.
Yes, you didn't have a lot of two-family...
Mom stayed home, Dad took the car.
Families.
Right.
No, I agree with that. It was originally a single-screen theater, but a second screen was added in May of 1955, increasing the car capacity to 1,350 and causing the need for the updated name, Admiral Twin.
Makes sense. Now, they've had everything there. They've had the Democratic National Convention. They've held concerts there. It's not a one-trick pony. It's definitely not one of your there's nothing average about a drive-in, but in terms of capitalizing on usage for...
Oh, yeah.
They've really done nearly everything that you could possibly do.
Yeah, Garth Brooks played this place.
Yes, Francis Ford Coppola. It was part of the backdrop of The Outsiders.
Right, which is why I say it plays a role in the drive-in theater history, because that was a big moment in time.
Absolutely.
Where movie audiences saw the drive-in theater. Right.
For the first time.
Right. And that was a great movie as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it was their 1950s hangout in the movie The Outsiders. In 2010, a fire destroyed the whole thing.
Now, what's interesting about that, I think in most cases, and there are certain locations in the ground that I could take you to in South OKC where there have been a couple of drive-ins, 2 or 3 of them, and once they go into disrepair, they kind of fade away and become an empty lot or just a dilapidated spot. They rebuilt this thing bigger and better.
They did. So by the way, you can go online and look at the pictures from the fire. It was crazy, and the people in Tulsa kind of freaked out a little bit. Like, this is a story, this is history.
This is history, yeah.
On fire right off the highway, and there were like 300 firefighters called out to put out this fire. But it did destroy both of the screens. There were the wooden screens. It was rebuilt with steel screens in 2012.
Yep.
They took a lot of time to update some other amenities, the on-site concession stand, the bathrooms. At the time, the owner, Blake Smith, was skeptical that he'd be able to rebuild, but the community came out in droves to revitalize this iconic movie theater.
Yeah, they $30,000 in donations, which seems like I don't think you could rebuild. I don't know. $30,000 seems like a hell of a value, but they rebuilt this thing not only to its original glory, but like I said, even better than before.
And one of the things that I think people don't understand about drive-in theaters, it's an overall experience.
Right.
You don't go to the movie 2 minutes before the movie starts.
No, you really don't. You get there early. The kids go play. They've got most places got something, putt-putt, or people kind of milling about and visiting with each other. It's the thing I think I like the most about the experience of the drive-in. The reality of it is, yes, you go to the movie to see your favorite movie, but again, it's about dropping the tailgate down, turning the radio on, turning everything off, and just kind of
it's a different experience.
It's really hard to describe, and I think because there's not very many of those left, that's why places like this, that's why places like the Winchester make money hand over fist, because it's nostalgia.
It is, but I think it's an experience that most people don't bother going out and...
Yeah, you're not going to get that at the Warren Theater. I'm sorry. As much as I like going to some of the big box theaters, there's nothing like... There's just it's so hard to explain.
It's like going to the movies in a park when you go to a drive-in.
And kind of like going in a museum, too. You're transported back in time.
Yes, it's a different experience. You're not... The special effects don't mean as much to you.
No.
The sound quality doesn't mean as much to you.
The sound quality is as good as the sound quality you have in your car.
Right. But again, it's transmitted.
Yeah.
So you might catch a slight delay.
Some crackles and pops.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things like that. So if you're going to that movie that you have to see in, high definition,
this is brief
with the speakers blowing your eardrums out, then this probably isn't for you. Yeah. But if you're going and you want to throw the Frisbee around with the kids before the movie starts.
Nobody cares.
No.
This is the kind of movie you go to where you don't, if you mind if somebody walks in front of the screen, you're kind of a D-bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think there's more to it as well. I mean, I really think of it as a family experience, and maybe I'm wrong, but every time, all of my memories of movie theaters as an adult involve me watching a movie with my kids, in the car or in the truck, and they're watching their movie because they all do it. They do the first movie is kid-oriented, and then the second movie is adult-oriented.
And hopefully they're asleep by the second movie.
That's exactly what happens. Your kids pass out on you, and then you get to relax and watch a movie and enjoy the fresh air.
Yep.
And it's a good time.
And you don't even, I think you almost don't even care what movie you're going to see. And if you're one of the, I think that, and the other thing that's blaringly obvious when you compare the drive-in experience to going to the movies, I always kind of feel like I'm rushing around. Got to get to the theater and got to get in the concession stand. And, the concession stands, most of the drive-in concession stands I've been a part of, everybody's just chill. It's just a different, everybody's relaxed. We're all there to just, again, it's all about the experience, not the expense.
I agree with that as well, but as far as expense goes, it's not expensive. $8 for adults, $4 for children.
So what do you say? What's an average ticket then? You got mom, dad, hopefully they're still together, and then say a couple kids, or maybe, two kids plus a friend. I mean, you're in the front
$24.
$24.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
And as far as some of the rules go, animals are allowed.
I like it.
As long as they're on a leash, no outside drinks or food.
Yep.
Or grills. I don't know who.
Somebody brought their cigarette lighter adapter for the George Foreman grill. That's the only thing I could. Or they brought their green egg. I don't know what they did.
Just started firing it up. Hey, we're selling hamburgers half the price of what they're selling them over there.
They don't make rules because someone didn't try to do it already. That means someone's done this many times.
But they, as far as their concession stand goes, they have a great menu. It's affordable, so no big deal. You can sit in your vehicle. You can sit on lawn chairs. You can bring a blanket and sit on the grass. Dude, it's a good time.
It's a good time, and it's a value, and it's a hell of a way to spend a Friday. And it's a hell of a way to spend a Friday or Saturday night if you got nothing better to do, and especially this time of year where it's still kind of cool in the evening. Whew. Thank goodness.
I don't know that a late July trip to the drive-in is probably...
Yeah.
Maybe if you skip the first movie...
Yeah, Duncan might be getting the money that night. If I want that old school experience, it might be some small little downtown theater somewhere. But you can't beat the value. You can't beat again, I think kids need to experience that kind of thing. It's fun. It's just fun.
It is. And if you are interested or you're looking for a good time with the family, check out their website, AdmiralTwinDrive-In.com.
Coming up next, you get to find out what it really means to either shh or get off the pot. So guess what?
Chicken butt.
Yes, and we can put that on a t-shirt if we want to, because I just put in another order for t-shirts.
For your other podcast, the Only in Texas show.
The Only in Texas show. Yeah, for the Only in Texas show. But no, we've got some shirts on the way.
Our boy Ronnie Davenport, full-time firefighter, full-time screen printer, full-time airline pilot. I don't know what else he does. But
he does everything full-time.
And he does it well.
Yeah, and if you're looking for a full-time design from a full-time guy, all you got to do, get that free quote, give him a call, 405-517-2174.
Or find him on the web at tailboardapparel.com.
So it has been I don't know if it's been a record like crazy weather.
Weather has been weird. I've been saying that for a couple of years.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that it's hotter or colder. It's definitely weirder.
It's weirder, and sometimes every now and again weather anomalies occur.
Yes.
That you can't explain.
I agree with that 100%. There is a news story from Stryker over at Buzz 106.3 Headline, Oklahoma storm last night had the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Yes, it's been a crazy weather situation. Family, a lot of people losing homes and trailers and things like that. So in no way, shape, or form are we poking anything here, but this is kind of funny.
This is a weird story.
It's weird.
Okay, so there were storms over the weekend.
No doubt.
In and around, the Texoma area. And according to the news story, they had shared some footage, some pretty crazy footage from Crowell and Lockett. But this is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
There was an apartment building in Okmulgee that had a lightning strike.
Of a peculiar kind.
That hit a toilet.
The lightning bolt went through the vent. Like, I know what the chances, I don't know what, mathematically I think the chances of you or I being struck by lightning are, they say what, 1 in a million? I mean, it's a crazy, wild number. But what are the chances that a lightning bolt goes through a vent and into a toilet?
And the toilet looks like somebody detonated a grenade in it. I mean, I've seen some bad toilets in my days.
Like in Taco Bell?
As much road trips as I've done in my
right.
life.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen some bathrooms where it looked like maybe a grenade had gone off. But this literally looks like somebody was really ticked at this toilet.
Okay, so I checked my math. I was wrong. We have a 1 in 500,000 shot of being struck by lightning. Again, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be exploded like a grenade. But what are the chances of this happening? That's like a bullseye for Thor.
Yeah, and this is a really funny story. He's got some funny lines in here. But one of the things that caught my eye is the apartment was empty at the time, but literally somebody was supposed to move in.
Oh, boy.
Now, I understand that crazy things happen.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would live in the house where the tornado or where the lightning bolt comes through the vent and blows up the toilet. Like, that seems like some voodoo stuff that I don't want any part of.
Can you imagine? And maybe if you were sitting on the toilet, the lightning would pass through you faster because it's going. But I think if it hits you in the head, you're done.
I would assume so. I would assume. After looking at the picture of the toilet, I'm going to assume if that lightning bolt hit you, you would be dead. But how often do you hear people go, yeah, we go into our bathroom during a tornado?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, you know where I was last night when it was the proverbial stuff had already hit the fan, but it was still lightning. I was in a shower with lightning bolts going. Zzz, zzz, zzz. Little did I know I could have been
a victim of Thor's wrath.
She could have come to look for me, and my vapor had just slipped into the drain. The greatest lesson we can learn here is unless you want to be 1 in 500,000, don't do a 2
during a storm.
During a storm.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to say that if you are in Oklahoma and you don't have a storm, if you don't have a tornado shelter, probably time to start reaching that. Because when the lightning bolts are coming through the vents to get you and the tornadoes coming at...
I was talking to a coworker who's getting, kind of what, how people are. The minute it really starts, the weather starts to pick up, everybody starts, price matching to see who's got the better deal on storm shelters. I was like, by the time you get your I applaud you, but by the time you get your storm shelter, you're going to need to worry about a space heater.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Oklahomans are a weird breed.
We are.
I'll openly admit, as soon as I heard the tornado sirens go off the other day, I walked outside.
I did it.
And looked around.
I did it.
I didn't stop, drop, and roll.
I was out doing some stupid video or taking pictures or something, and Tara's texting me. Because Tara, true story, she lived through the May 3rd, 2013.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she was across the street from Plaza Tower, so her tornado storm alarm goes off before the news even goes beep.
Oh, yeah.
So I was out doing, crazy Oklahoma, this is what we do, this is how you know you're from Oklahoma stuff. She's like, are you going to come inside? I'm like, not yet.
I don't see a funnel cloud yet. I know we're bad about that. I fully agree. I fully understand. But I would say if you don't have one, it's probably time to start looking at
storm
shelters.
Right. If you don't have a storm shelter, get a storm shelter. And if you know somebody that doesn't have the OnlyinOKShow downloaded to their phone, tell them they need a storm shelter and a podcast to keep them safe and weather aware.
They need their storm shelter screen printed. We know a guy.
And, yeah.
Well, this has been the OnlyinOKShow. I am Harley.
And I'm Brett.
And we're out of here.
Peace. You know, when you get back from your world traveling, we're going to have to double down and start doing make a plan to do some together trips. Here's the thing, FYI, you can take this out of the show if you like. Where are you going? You okay? Tara doesn't like to ride in the back seat.
Okay.
We were planning on doing something and it didn't. I can't remember why we couldn't do it. She's like, I'm not going to have to ride in the back seat, am I? I was like, no, why? Because we were going to take your car. I don't remember what it was. She's like, I don't know if I've told you this, but I get car sick if I sit in the back seat. Like, okay. What's that green thing?
Broccoli.
Is that steak or chicken?
Pork chop.
Pork chop.
It's organic.
I'm sure. Ethically sourced.
Mm-hmm.
Pork chop.
Yeah, nobody died when I was getting that pork chop from Walmart.
So, this isn't a vegan thing, but we were driving, we took the road less traveled, if you will, and came through Pocasset and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a trailer in front of us. This is a conversation that if we weren't trying to be vegan/vegetarian, it wouldn't be as funny. So there's a truck hauling a trailer with a singular cow in it. And she goes, "Oh, look, a cow." I said, I love cows. I think they're cute. And I said, I hope they're not taking it to processing. She goes, I do too. She's like, maybe they're just taking it. Maybe they just bought it and they're taking it to their other pasture so it can live. That's to an outsider's perspective. That's the most vegan conversation you can have. Aside from, I hope that it didn't have children, or I hope that's not a mother. In my head, I went, I hope that cow didn't have moms. I hope it didn't have kids.
I hope it had kids. I hope it had 2 moms.
And I hope
fucking 3 dads.
And I hope they're all on the flat top of JW Grill.
Yep.
But I did come up with an idea that I'm willing to. But I got to tell you how I execute this. I thought of a cool idea for us. We were driving through Union City. You know, there's Dairy Mart.
Mm-hmm.
Been there 150 years. And welcome to welcome to the show. Let's start the show.
Bring it. Let's go.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't open the show with that, let's start the show. All right, 3, 2, 1. And welcome to the show. Today we're headed to the Admiral Twin in Tulsa, and a little bit later, thunder rolls. I was trying to think of a way to play it. Thunderstorm in the bathroom. And something was rumbling more than their tummies in the restroom. I'm kidding. Okay, 3, 2, 1.